believe it was George Will once said on Ken Burns' baseball documentary that baseball is essentially a life of misery, briefly punctuated by brief moments of joy, is the way he said it. And Saturday is definitely the brief moment of joy, as Tigers have subsequently gone on a 5-game losing streak.
Did you stay for the second game or no?
No, that was a separate. It was a day night doubleheader.
It was a split. It was a split. Okay.
Yeah, they always do that now. There's no such thing as the non-split doubleheader, but because they can sell 2 sets of tickets.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the only reason I asked, I wasn't sure because the Sox did that the other day.
Whoa, old school.
Yeah, but that was probably because the weather was so cruddy and no one was getting a 3,000th hit, so they only probably had 20,000 tickets sold. So
yeah. Well, the Tigers' losing streak shouldn't be quite as long as it is if they hadn't completely fucked up Tuesday night's game. Tigers' offense has been anemic at best. That's being kind. They have 3 starters who are below 200. In fact, I think Akil Baddoo, our center field / left fielder, is batting 111 last I saw. Jonathan Scope had a hit today, but I think he's still below 200. And Jamer Candelario had the day off because he's so fucking god awful. But like I said, the losing streak should be shorter only because Tuesday night, Javi Baez came back off the IL. He actually came back on Sunday, but he was able to help the Tigers take the lead for the first time in the 8th inning on a 3-run homer. Majestic shot. Essentially, at that point, he had basically the only offense the Tigers had in all the games where he was actually healthy. If you think about opening day, he had the walk off the wall hit that cinched that game, and then hurt his thumb. So he had been ailing, whether we knew it or not. He had been ailing since that point. He played Sunday, but then the next game was Tuesday, and that's when he had his 3-run homer to take the lead, the only real good offense that the Tigers had that whole time. Unfortunately, the bullpen comes in eventually. Michael Fulmer did a fine job in the bottom of the 8th. He did walk the first batter, which always makes me nervous. But yeah, I think he got 3 strikeouts after that. So move to the 9th. Tigers with a 1-run lead. Gregory Soto comes into the game, who has been lights out. He is a nasty pitcher, but in true Detroit closer fashion, over the last 20 years at least, in the lineage of Fernando Rodney, Jose Valverde, Todd Jones, Joe Nathan, maybe Joaquin Benoit, maybe Joaquin Soria. Lots of
anyone
strikes.
named Joaquin Phoenix? Phoenix came
all the Joaquins. Somehow Tigers closers either strike everyone out or they walk the fucking ballpark. And Gregory Soto chose to walk the first 2 batters of the 9th on 8 pitches.
Soto.
Yeah. And he's also on my fantasy team, so it makes it doubly brutal when he does shit like that. But he was able to get an out after that. Unfortunately, Miguel Sano came up to bat and just crushed a ball into basically right center, where
into your fielder's glove, it looked like.
Well, if Robbie Grossman took a regular route to that ball, he would have caught it pretty easily, but he took a fucked up route and it bounced off the end of his mitt, at which point I basically spun around and walked out of I was already standing at that point. I spun around and walked out of the room because I thought they had lost the game, or at least tied it, had the game tied, but
not yet.
Little would I know, things would get much more complex than that, especially when the Twins' third base coach somehow held up their runner at third, which made no sense. It should have been the easiest score ever, but that action on his part was accidentally brilliant because it made every fielder in a Detroit Tigers uniform made their minds turn to mush. Made them all revert to Little League because no one had any idea what the fuck to do at that point. Grossman threw the ball, hit the cutoff man at least, to Jonathan Scope, who threw the ball about 20 feet wide of home plate to Eric Haas, play catcher, and he did eventually corral the ball. At which point that he was finally maybe understanding what the hell is happening, as there were 3 runners hung up between bases, essentially. So he started to run towards third, which was the right thing to do in my mind. And there's been much debate what the right thing to do on this play was, but you have runners basically at every base, or between every base, except third now. The runner at third who has stopped, he got back to third pretty easily. So now the play for Haas, after he sees the runner safely standing at third, the play for Haas is to run towards, or even walk towards the runner stuck between second and third, straight towards shortstop, essentially. And if he wants to throw it to Javi Baez, who's our best infielder, go right ahead. That's probably the best move of all. Let somebody that knows what they're doing go take care of that, and then you can go back to home to cover. Whatever you want to do. Instead, Eric Haas chose to throw the ball 20 feet over third baseman Jamer Candelario's head into left field. Why the Tigers had no one even backing up the third baseman, and they had nobody in left field at that point. I'm not even sure where Austin Meadows was. I think he was somehow around second base for whatever reason. Thus clinching a two runs being scored and a victory for the Minnesota Twins. And it was just the most boneheaded thing I've ever seen in my life. I think there were 3 official errors on the play. There could have been 6 errors if you count them all up. I mean, you could even say the Twins made 3 running errors on that play. Miguel Sano was trying to get to second base for whatever reason when his run means absolutely nothing. Maybe he was trying to be an agent of chaos and create even more confusion on the base pass, but I don't know what he was doing, but it was sickening. I actually felt nauseous to lose a game that way. I've never seen anything like it. And I'm wondering, your son is a Little League player. I'm wondering if you've seen such a badly botched play in any of the Little League games you have witnessed.
Yeah. I mean, not recently, but usually
it's been a while, but
usually when you get new kids on the team or kids who haven't played a lot and you get the start of the season, and even kids just forget stuff over the year. When you get out there for those first games, sometimes it's a shit show.
These are major league players.
No, I know. I don't know what the outcome of the game would have been, but the smartest play would have been for Eric Haas to put the ball in his pocket and take on the next batter with the bases loaded and a force out at every base.
Absolutely. I think what happened was either
he did the dumbest throw you could ever do.
Yeah.
He did the like, I'm going to flip it to you throw, which what is that going to do? The guy's going to be able to get back to second because it's hung up in the air.
Right. There's 2 things that could have happened. Either he got greedy and was trying to do everything he could do to get a double play out of that to end the game, or he panicked and did not want the ball because he did not know what to do. So the first thing he could think of is to throw it to third, which makes no sense.
Because that guy's pretty much
the runner was standing on third, so he was not going to get him up. He wanted to get rid of the ball. He needed to get rid of it to Javi. Well, even if he wants to get rid of the ball, throw it to the fucking person. The most disappointing thing of this is and I stayed up late. I forced myself to watch the post-game show because I wanted to hear the analysis. The stunned silence of the post-game show crew was deafening. They didn't know how to describe it. I wanted to see if they could interview the key principals in the debacle.
They were unavailable for comment.
They did. No, they were available. I was impressed with that. What I was not impressed with was their answers. And the first they interviewed Robbie Grossman, who said, "Yeah, I just couldn't get to the ball. It was past me." I'm like, you took a terrible route.
No, I mean, the fact that it bounced off his glove, to me, I agree with you 100%. When I watched that play a couple times, just from the fact they showed it so much, like it looked like if he had taken an angle,
he needed to go back.
Yeah, if
he
cut
over
angle,
and then back.
Yeah,
and that's what
if he had just taken
an
angle, it's an out. It's an out.
He said he couldn't get to it, which is bullshit.
Okay.
We all
it's
know
pretty
that.
fast. So
then Eric Haas was interviewed, and he took responsibility, but he said the throw to home plate, went into the dirt, and so he was throwing a big old mud ball, is what he said. Not never acknowledging that he was throwing it to the wrong fucking base to begin with. Never acknowledging whether he was panicking or whether he was, trying to get a double play somehow or what he was trying to do. But he was blaming it on the ball being slippery, which is just unbelievable. I'm more disappointed in that none of the players like took responsibility for it, and not that they have to or whatever, but it kind of speaks to a fragility in their mindset that is really bugging me, and it might be manifesting itself in our current 5-game losing streak, because they've clearly not been able to recover from that moment, and losing the next 2 games of the Twins, losing 7-1 today, 5-0 yesterday. It's looking eerily similar to last April, where the Tigers ended up being, I think, 9-23 in their first over the first month or so. We are trending in that same direction right now, and that is what fucked them last year. They had a tremendous last 5 months, every month being over 500. They could have been in playoff contention if not for their shitty April, and we are doing the exact same thing this year, and it's bad. It makes me. It's almost like their mindset, their answers to those interview questions is more telling than their play on the field. And
right.
I'm not having good feelings right now for my Tigers.
Good vibrations.
Bad vibes, babe.
Word Hole Media.